Welcome back, history buffs. Today we're diving into one of the most intense periods of modern history, World War I. This video contains historical facts that might be unsettling, but it's important to remember the lessons from our past. Viewer discretion is advised. We're uncovering hidden truths that you probably didn't learn in school. Did you know that soldiers not only faced bullets and bombs, but also the harrowing reality of chemical warfare and the psychological toll known as shell shock? Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll see World War I from a new perspective. Imagine living in a muddy, rat-infested trench for months with the constant threat of enemy fire. Trench warfare was brutal, and the conditions were inhumane. Soldiers lived in perpetual fear, with the haunting sounds of artillery shells exploding around them. This wasn't just a battle for land, it was a battle for survival in the most hellish conditions imaginable. These trenches stretched for miles across Europe, a maze of barbed wire, mud, and death. The smell of decay and the sight of decomposing bodies were constant companions for these brave men. In the middle of this chaos, soldiers had to deal with the physical and mental toll of living in such close quarters. Under relentless bombardment, snipers might kill anyone who showed even the smallest portion of their head above the parapet, so daily existence required continual alertness. Suffocating in a collapsed trench or being buried alive by shell fire was a constant concern. One of the darkest innovations of World War I was the introduction of chemical weapons. The first large-scale use of chlorine gas by the Germans in 1915 changed warfare forever. These invisible killers caused excruciating deaths and left survivors with lifelong health issues. The psychological terror of anticipating a gas attack added another layer of horror to an already devastating war. When the first gas attack occurred, soldiers were unprepared. The sight of a green-yellow cloud drifting silently over no man's land, followed by the agonizing screams of those it enveloped, marked a terrifying new phase of the conflict. Chlorine gas burned the lungs and caused a slow, painful death by asphyxiation. Later, more potent gases like phosgene and mustard gas were introduced, causing even more severe injuries and fatalities. And what about the human cost? So the numbers are staggering. Millions of soldiers and civilians lost their lives, and countless others were left physically and mentally scarred. Entire generations were decimated and families torn apart. The concept of the unknown soldier emerged, as so many bodies were unidentifiable, leaving families without closure. Today we understand shell shock as PTSD, but back then it was a mysterious and misunderstood condition. Soldiers who suffered from shell shock experienced uncontrollable tremors, nightmares, and a profound sense of dread. The treatment for these psychological wounds was often as harsh as the war itself. Many soldiers were labeled as cowards or malingerers and faced brutal punishments rather than compassionate care. Medical understanding of psychological trauma was in its infancy, and the sheer number of cases overwhelmed military medical facilities. Some doctors attempted new treatments, ranging from talking therapies to electric shock treatments, with varying degrees of success. The stigma surrounding mental health meant that many soldiers suffered in silence, their pain compounded by a lack of support and understanding. Are you thinking about the human warfare? Aerial warfare also took off during World War I. Initially used for reconnaissance, airplanes soon became tools of combat, engaging in dogfights and bombing runs. The Red Baron, Manfred von Richthofen, became a household name, embodying the deadly glamour of these new airborne warriors. The war also saw the development of strategic bombing, as both sides attempted to disrupt enemy supply lines and morale by targeting civilian infrastructure. As we reflect on these darkest truths of World War I, it's crucial to remember the human cost behind the historical facts. These stories of unimaginable hardship remind us of the resilience of the human spirit and the importance of learning from our past. If you found this journey through the hidden horrors of World War I as eye-opening as we did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Join us next time for more untold stories from history. By uncovering these hidden aspects of World War I, we not only honor those who lived through it, but also gain a deeper understanding of the forces that shape our world today. Let's continue to explore history with curiosity and compassion, ensuring that the lessons of the past guide us toward a more peaceful future.